Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Temple of Faith, our Saturday morning breakfast conversation. We are so happy that you have decided to join us, and we want to ask that you like and share this live stream. Share it with your family and friends that could benefit on today. Today's topic is knowing your truth. Knowing your truth. This is a free event for our community here in Kokomo. And we want to welcome you and ask again that you share this information with us. Hopefully you have your orange juice or your coffee and your ham and eggs or whatever you are eating this morning for breakfast. We just want to invite you to join with us, and hopefully this session will help someone in our community to know their truth, how to manage their truth, how to share their truth, how to walk in their truth, to provide healing, emotional or mental healing for you and your family or your loved ones. We are so happy to have some guests with us this morning. She's going to introduce herself. Normally, we have a presentation for about 20 minutes, and then we field your questions for the last 10 minutes. But today, my guest and I are going to have a conversation. And so if you have any questions, you can just place your questions in the comment section. This will be, as I said, broadcast live on Facebook. It'll be posted also on our YouTube channel at Temple of Faith. So our YouTube channel is Temple of Faith. And so we hope that you will be uplifted this morning as you share in this conversation. So welcome this morning. Would you introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. My name is Shante Kazim. I'm very happy to join you all on this morning as we discuss walking in your truth. Just a little bit of background about myself. I currently am a mental health support specialist working with 11 school districts around the Houston area, where I provide mental health support to students that are in high school. I have been in the field of counseling for over 25 years. I hold a doctorate in education counseling, a master's in counseling, and a bachelor's in social work. I'm again very excited to be here. I do hope something that I say will help you on today, because as you know, we're talking about walking in our truth. And what better way to live in our most beautiful, authentic self if we're able to walk in our truth. So I'll go ahead and get started on this morning, if I may, Pastor. So what does that mean? When we talk about walking in our truth, and you think about, well, what does that mean? I'm already living in my truth, but are we really living in our real truth? What does that mean to walk in our truth? To walk in your truth means just basically to walk in your most authentic self. It's doing the things that you want to do, the things that make you happy, the things that bring you joy. And as we walk in our truth, walking in our truth means standing on the things that we know are true for us. And standing in that truth means having the courage, because it's not always easy to walk in your truth. So we have to learn how to have the courage to stand up for ourselves, to speak the things that we carry in our own lives that truly, truly bother us. And so that's all falling under the lines of being able to walk in your truth. It's standing in it. It's understanding that we can feel safe, we can feel free to share the things that we live with each and every day of our lives. So when we think about the things that we hold on to, we have to ask ourselves, why do we hold on to pain? Why do we hold on to things that we can see as an untruth? Why is it that we believe we have to carry that burden? Well, when you think about the things we hold on to, a lot of times we only hold on to them because we don't want confrontation. We don't want tension. We don't want stress with other people. Well, I was going to tell them, but I just didn't want them to feel this way, or I didn't want them to feel that way. And sometimes we even question our own selves, like, is it even really worth it for me to share what I'm really feeling? Is it even worth it that I bring it out? What is my honesty going to cost? What will it cost? Will it cost relationships? Will it cost others to have pain, but yet and still I decide to carry it. I decide to hold on to it. And I have to ask myself, is that really walking in my authentic truth?
Let me stop you right there. You have
Mhm.
dropped some amazing nuggets already, and you were on a roll, but I have to stop you there. Go back to that last statement that you made about how much will my honesty, I think you said, how much will my honesty cost?
Mhm.
I, I think we need you to elaborate on that because that's one of the keys that I wanted to talk about today. How much will my honesty cost?
When we weigh the fact that oftentimes, this, let me explain something. Whether it's indirectly or it's directly, we've all told a little white lie. And when I say little white lies, oh, you make the best banana pudding I've ever tasted before. Even if it's not true, we say it. We
Mhm.
say little things like, oh, I love that outfit. And then in our mind, like, why would they wear that to the convocation? Like it's not. So those are the little things. But when we talk about those big things that we carry, those hard things, those things that can affect maybe other people, we hold them and we tend to not be honest about those things. But we have to ask ourselves, why are we like that? Why do we hold those truths? And oftentimes we hold them for the sake of others. We
Mhm.
hold them because
Absolutely.
we don't want to disturb others' truth or their happiness or their peace. But yet on the flip side of that is we tend to carry the burden. So then we're never really able to walk in our truth. Does that answer the question a little bit more? Or I can elaborate. Tell me exactly what you want me to elaborate on.
Well, sometimes there's a balancing act. There's some things that we need to release.
Mhm,
That's our truth, but it will hurt other people.
mhm.
So at what point do we balance that? How can we become healthy while still holding because we don't want to hurt other people in releasing our truth?
And in that moment, we have to understand when we decide to walk in our truth, we're doing that for ourselves. And
Mm,
sometimes we tend to protect others' hearts more than we protect our own. So no one can tell someone whether to walk in their full truth or whether not to walk in it. That's a personal decision. But you have to ask yourself, am I carrying a weight that is so hard that if I don't speak it, I'm never going to be free? It's so personal. But we have to stop feeling like we're not able to share what's in our hearts in order to be free. And even asking me that question, you're going to kind of hear that as I continue to go on because I talk about that. Think about when we have that drunk uncle
mhm.
and everybody know he's a drunk, but he's also a pastor. So do we hide the fact that he's a drunk even though we mentally know it? And then we don't say, well, you know what? He's a drunk and he's hurt a lot of people with his verbally abusive ways in the background.
Right.
So openly kind to the congregation, but when he's drunk at home, he's verbally abusive to his wife. So it's the
Mm,
family secret. We can't tell that uncle is like this,
right.
but we're not walking in our truth. And so we know in our heart, we're sitting in church and we're like, everything he's telling is a lie.
Mm,
But we're not free to say that because us as perpetrators, we tend to protect the other instead of protecting our own self.
correct. Correct. I'm going to talk in real broad generalities for
Mhm,
obvious reasons. Some years ago, there was a major case where there was some allegations of abuse, and a family member came out and basically validated everything that was being said in the public. And that family member became the target of attack rather than the perpetrator. Why does that happen in families?
It happens all the time. And if you think about it, they became the target because they decided to stand up for the truth. And the
Wow.
people that attacked them, they weren't ready for it because
Wow.
they still wanted to walk under the umbrella of protecting whatever that perpetrator did. So they're lashing out at truth because now it's spoken out loud and they don't want to accept it. So if I don't want to accept it, now I'm going to lash out at the individual who decided I don't have to carry that anymore. And it's an unfortunate thing that happens in every scenario. Have you ever heard the saying, the truth hurts?
Yes.
But we also have to understand the truth heals. So on one hand, you might have some who are hurting because of what's been told. But on the other hand, you have many that are healing because of what's been told. And why do we feel safe to not protect those who are looking for healing instead of protecting those who we're covering?
Wow. Yeah, that's good.
That's something
That's
we have
good.
to think about within ourselves. And when we think about those big secrets, let's think about the big secrets that we hold. Those are usually ones that keep us up at night. My big secret isn't keeping, if someone goes and breaks in your house, you know, they've gotten what they wanted. They've fulfilled their flesh. So they're going to bed at night. Whereas I know it was my brother that did it and I'm trying to protect him. So I'm going to hold on to it. But it's eating me up inside. He's resting, but it's
Right.
eating me up on the inside. I'm holding on to it, but now I'm on edge. It's keeping me up at night, but we have to understand it's going to come out sooner or later. So when you talked about the broad situation with the other person, how long did they carry that? They could have carried it for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, but the truth will always surface sooner or later. So it's either I'm going to be able to share it or it's going to come out. But we want that truth to be able to be told so that we can walk in freedom. We hold on to things, as I told you, because we're so in fear of who it's going to hurt, who we're going to lose. And the loss of a relationship is very tough.
Mhm.
But I believe that anything that we're supposed to have in our life will remain. So even though there might be some who might be hurt by us sharing what we feel, if they truly love us, they'll support us because they will understand when I speak, I'm speaking for me. People may look at us sometimes and wonder, why now? Why do you have to talk about this now? If it's
Right.
something
Right.
that you dealt with, why do you
Right.
have to bring it up now? But we have to be able to answer that because it's my story and I need to be able to tell it. Does that make sense? It might not be your story. It's actually my story. So then you're starting to make me question myself. Well, what are the risks? What are the risks of me deciding now I want to walk in my truth? You know,
But let me stop you again, because before you go down that street, let's
mhm.
back up, because you said something else powerful. When we are knowing our truth and we start releasing our truth and people start attacking us or just giving us some feedback, it's not always an attack, and they say, well, why now?
Mhm.
How would you answer that if someone came to you and said, Shantae, why now? Why are you talking about that now?
I can use my own self as an example. So growing up, even though I'm an adult, I was uh, one of the younger cousins. I've always been the youngest on one side of my family. So if things bothered me, I held them in. I'm not going to talk about it because I don't want to hurt the family. And we would all know it's true. Like, you got this mean person or this person that's vindictive. But I held on to it because for the sake of peace. And as I got older and I started walking into this journey of self care, because it's all about self care,
Mm.
people started saying something's wrong. What's wrong with her? Like, you know, she's out here and now she's trying to lose weight. So that's one thing. And now her weight loss is turning into freedom and all this and internal that. And I had to question myself, why now? The why now is because I made up in my mind that mind, body, and spirit has to be whole. And
Wow.
how
Yes.
can I be okay, you know, financially I have it going on, or maybe educationally, or maybe you believe you have a beautiful family, but yet and still inside you carry the weight of so many things that hurt you. And so you start saying, you know what? I'm not going to be bullied into carrying what I feel because it's what I feel. I don't like the way you talk to me. And I'm safe to say that because there's nothing you can do. I feel safe. I don't like it. You're going to fix it or I'll detach myself because I don't have to be a part of anything that doesn't allow me to feel whole. I want to feel whole. I want to feel peace. I shouldn't have to question myself. I just told you, like, we start questioning, like, well, who am I going to hurt, or what's the
Right.
disadvantages of it?
Right.
I don't want to see them in pain, so I'm going to carry the pain. Is that fair? You're telling me to carry pain to save someone else's pain. How is that fair to me? How can I be whole, mind, body, spirit, if I'm holding on to something that's hurting me? And why do I have to be the victim for the rest of my life, the victim to pain? Because now I'm the victim. If I have to carry it, why am I not able to walk in freedom? If I allow the world to walk in freedom, why am I not able to say it hurt my feelings when you said this? It hurt my feelings when you did this. Then it almost makes me walk in a fear because I don't feel comfortable then owning what is the truth. And a lot of times what we have to say, everybody else knows is true too. They just don't want to deal with it. They don't want to deal with it. So what do? We suffer in silence. We
Mhm.
suffer in silence. Our
Do we
head.
do it? Do we do it for the greater good?
But what is the greater good? What's the greater good?
Well, if you have 20 people that would be at peace, even though it's in an authentic peace versus one person walking in peace, how do you juggle that? How do you balance that?
But what does God say about that one soul that is saved?
Hmm.
You know, what if I can free one person? Then was it worth it? Because we're all important. The truth hurts. The truth is not always something that brings peace to everyone, but
Hmm.
it can bring closure to a lot of people too. And so, why then are we so afraid? We can't continue to make excuses for why we don't walk in our authentic self, because that's what I'm basically being told I have to do. I have to make excuses for why Johnny would steal from his mom.
Hmm.
Well, the boy have a drug problem, but that doesn't mean it's okay to steal from your mom. So we
Right.
try to cover it and mask things and make excuses for things that we shouldn't have to make excuses for. And is that really, really fair? Are we able to walk in our authentic self because we don't feel free, to discuss the things that have altered our lives? Because
Right.
if I'm holding it, it's altering my life.
Absolutely.
And I
Absolutely.
don't want it to offer me in order to make your life better. So I have to make myself uncomfortable. We know that the truth can affect others. We already know it. But have we ever talked about the opposite of what the truth does? Have we talked about the fact that now that I've spoken it, now I have peace. Now I'm healed. Now I'm happy. Now I'm whole. So look at all the advantages of me walking in my truth has caused. So we want to talk about, oh, it's going to hurt someone. That's the one thing that we worry. Most of us,
Right.
that's worry about. It's going to hurt someone.
Right.
But now let's weigh that option. It's that 80-20. Yes, it's going to hurt someone, but it's going to bring me peace. It's going to bring me healing. It's going to bring me happiness. It's going to make me whole. It's going to make me free. It's going to make me a better communicator. Now I have to use all of what it's going to do. And now it's covering up the bad. That one thing, now all of my joy, all of what I need has now overshadowed. So that's that 80-20 that we have to be willing to weigh. And we have to be able to know that I was hurting, holding this truth in causes me pain. Talk about it. You know, if I have a secret that I want to tell, the first thing I have to understand, it's going to impact people's lives. I understand that.
Absolutely.
But I have to be able to share with them, okay, but this is what it's going to do for me. You know, it's going to cause me to be able to move forward. It's going to cause me to know that how can I share with others how to grow in any area if I haven't grown in that myself?
Mm-hmm.
How can I teach people, you know, that it's okay to stand up for yourself, even if it's a child? Oh, it's okay to stand up for yourself, but am I standing up for myself? Because standing up for myself says I can say what I want, and it's a way to say everything. I'm not saying it, because you have to ask people, do you think I'm saying this to hurt anyone?
You know, you just raised and I don't know if you realize it, you just raised a huge inconsistency in families and with parents, because parents teach their children, come tell me everything. Come tell me if anyone touches you, anyone does anything. And then as we grow up, the reverse happens. Oh, don't talk about that. You're going to hurt me. You realize what we just
Absolutely.
uncovered?
Absolutely.
We flip it as we become adults and start saying, don't talk about it. It's going to hurt too many people. Well, when I was 5 years old, you told me to tell you everything.
Yeah. And that's when you were most happiest, because I could share, because I could talk, because I could walk in my truth. But now you're telling me not to. What does the Bible say? God commands us to what? He commands us not to lie. Well, if we're not saying what's the truth, then what are we doing? If the commandment says, as Christians, we should not lie, isn't that what he says?
Yes.
Then why are we so reluctant to walk in truth?
Wow.
We have to, walking in our truth allows us to step into our purpose. If my purpose is to say, if my truth is, because everybody has their why for everything that they do in life. If we think about our why, we can say, if we talk about weight loss, well, I want to lose weight because I want to be fine. Well, I want to lose weight because, well, if I want to lose weight because I want to be healthy, then me accepting that that's what my truth is, then I'm able to walk in what my calling is, which is to help other people understand the importance of walking in good health. So if I want people to not be afraid, if somebody molests a child, why do we cover it up? You make the child the victim.
Yes, yes.
You make the child the victim. And you're teaching the child to almost be afraid to tell the truth. So we become afraid of it. So if our purpose is to help people feel free to share, if that's what your purpose is, how can you teach that if you're not living that?
Right. And let me share something with you. In my preparation for this month's conversation, I had a conversation with an adult woman, and I asked her a very direct question. I said, you know, if you were molested, and this is just one example. We don't have to harp on this, but this is just one example. I said, if you were molested and, you know, by your uncle, and you wanted to share that story, I said, you're going to hurt your cousins. You know what she said? Came back and said to me, she said, well, he shouldn't have molested me.
That's the truth.
Yes.
Because he had that choice. He took a vulnerable situation. He dealt with a child that was basically helpless in that, and did something that he knowingly knew was wrong. He knew what it could cost. but he was still willing to do it no matter what the cost.
So when we
Rob a
share,
bank, I know the cost. I'm going
right?
to get caught. You're breaking up. I'm so sorry.
Okay. So when
I
we,
didn't hear you. It broke up.
okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. So when we share our truth and when we release ourselves, it really is about us releasing ourselves, and we are willing to accept the consequences of that release because we want to be free.
Say it again because it was breaking up. I apologize.
Okay. No, just go ahead and finish your thought, what you were saying.
Okay. We were talking about, you mean the thought as far as in the person understanding that there could be a consequence
Yes.
to their actions. Okay. So we were talking about me robbing a bank. If I decide to go out and rob a bank, I understand in that moment that a consequence can happen, but I'm willing to take the risk. I'm willing to take the risk, but I have to understand with all risk, there can be a consequence to the action. So if I didn't want to get caught, I shouldn't have never robbed the bank, because you can't come and take me for a bank robbery if there's no evidence that it happened. But I chose to do it, so I chose the consequence of possibly jail time, probation, or whatever it was. We cannot allow people to feel like it's okay to do things, whether it's molestation, whether you didn't had a kid out of wedlock, whether you didn't beat up everybody in your house and you didn't starve your kid. We cannot normalize, listen to me good, we cannot normalize making things that are unhealthy okay. And we're normalizing it by saying out loud that we have to cover it up. So it's normal to cover up truth. Psalms 86:11 instructs, what does it say? Instruct me, O Jehovah, about your way, so I will be able to walk in truth. If we pray and we ask God to give us direction on what we should do and how we should handle a situation, and he gives us peace to come out and walk in our truth, then we can't allow man to stop that. Because God is instructing us to walk in what we know is what's right. And am I wrong? Then I'm not obeying God if I know you murdered someone, and just because you're my cousin, I'm not going to tell it. Whoa. Because now I'm walking in a lie. Whoa. I'm not being obedient to God. So I'm going to hold on to a lie. But what does God say about liars? I want to please God. And anything that's right, we're going to find peace. I'm going to find peace. And the healing just has to take place after that. We should live in our lives and be able to live a life that we want to live. If I want to live, I shouldn't have to be afraid to walk unapologetically free. I want to be unapologetically free. I don't want to say, well, I'm sorry that, he took advantage of me. And, I didn't want y'all to know, because I know y'all, that's y'all favorite uncle or y'all favorite cousin that, came in my house and stole my good china. But, that's what we do. That's right. Exactly. Right. And we normalize it. We normalize it. But we have to be able to feel safe to tell our story. And you said something earlier. We teach it to our children. Come to me for anything. But now I'm coming to you. I'm a child of God. And I'm saying, God, this hurts. And yes. I want to talk about it. So can I be free? Can I free myself to walk in that? Can I gain full control of my life? Because if I don't have control if I'm letting somebody else dictate it. Because I'm letting what somebody else think dictate what I really want to say or what I really feel. So then I'm really not I'm really not walking in my truth. I know we don't have a lot of time. So I want to ask this. How do we know if we're even walking in our authentic truth? How do we know? We know because we're content with every area of our life. So if what you're holding on
That's
to,
great.
there's
That's
no
great.
contentment, guess what? You're not walking in your truth because you're not content. You're not even peace. Your mind is at a battle because you're holding on. There's no contentment. So you're not walking in your truth. You're walking in a lie. You're basically living a lie. That's what you're doing. You're not going to, number two, you're not going to seek approval or validation from anybody else. I don't have to ask you to tell the truth. It's what I'm going to do. I'm respecting you enough to share with you that I'm going to do it, but I don't need your approval. I don't need your validation. I don't need you to say this is okay or it's not okay. Also, when we're living in our authentic truth, people will see that shine upon us. People will see, you sure are glowing. You just seem so happy. Well, I am. Mind, body, soul. I'm at peace. Yes. And I hear it all the time. Yes. I hear it all the time.
Yes.
Girl, you got it going on. I sure do, because I'm happy. I have the joy of the Lord, and it's real because now I'm able to walk and share what I feel, the things that matter to me. And I don't have to hold on to it anymore, you know. And you understand in that moment that you're doing what you want to do to make your soul happy. So at the end of the day, if my soul is happy, if my soul is at rest, then I'm walking in my truth. And that's what I want to people to see. We don't have to hide what we feel. Let's feel safe. Let's feel safe to talk about those things and understand we're not asking for approval.
Well, that is the great way to close. And I was going to ask you to give us some bullet point, and you did it without asking. You just gave us some tips right there at the end. And this is to the community. This has been a powerful 30 minutes of knowing your truth and walking in your truth. And we want you to share this with family members that may be struggling in certain areas, or friends that you know that could use this information here in our community in Howard County. Please share this information. It's free information. And you can contact our church, Temple of Faith, Church of God in Christ, at 765-614-8745 at any time. Or you can join us for worship on Sundays at 12 noon at 2117 North Apperson Way here in the city of Kokomo, Indiana. We just hope and pray that this has been a blessing for you on this week and that you've enjoyed this Saturday morning breakfast conversation. We want you to join us next month on Saturday, December 10th. Our topic is Ending the Year Strong, Ending the Year Strong. And please share this information again with anyone that can use this. They may be struggling with some secrets or struggling with some inner turmoil, and they need to be free. You know, Jesus said in John 8:32, you shall know the truth and the truth shall make you free. We understand what Jesus was talking about, but that's a general principle that truth is freedom. Truth is freedom. And you never know when you have the courage to share your truth, you never know who you will motivate to share their truth. That will motivate someone else to share their truth. So we trust and pray that you have been blessed. We look forward to seeing you in worship with us on Sunday mornings at 12 noon. And we look forward to being with you again for our Saturday morning breakfast conversation on Saturday, December 10th. May the Lord bless you and keep you is our prayer. Be blessed.